So let me just read out this Merseyside police statement in full for you. They've said, "We can confirm that emergency services are in Southport following a major incident this morning, Monday the 29th of July. They say at around 11:50 they were called to a property on Hart Street to reports of a stabbing. There are a number of reported casualties and more details will be confirmed when possible. They said armed police have detained a male and seized a knife, and he has been taken to a police station. They've urged people to avoid the area while they deal with this incident, but stress that there is no wider threat to the public." We've also had more information from the North West Ambulance Service saying its paramedics are responding to reports of multiple stabbings in Southport. They said that following reports of multiple stabbings, we have dispatched multiple resources. They are assessing the situation and working with emergency partners. So very much a developing situation there and information coming in every moment. Let's get the latest with our Home Affairs correspondent, Daniel Sanford, who does have more for us, I believe. Daniel, tell us the latest.
Yeah, this incident seems to have started just before midday on Hart Street in Southport. We can see from images that are coming in from the scene now that there is a very significant police cordon, a very significant police presence. It seems to be at the end of the street with the lower numbers, maybe around 20 to 30. Hart Street seems to be the centre of the police operation at the moment. The police have said that they have detained a man, that a knife's been seized, but this seems to be a very, very serious stabbing incident with multiple casualties, and there are starting to be suggestions of possible fatalities, but nothing come from any official sources yet. The North West Ambulance Service say that they've sent multiple units and multiple staff there, and we're still waiting to hear from the local hospitals as to what kind of response they put up. But because this is a critical incident, it's likely to be that several hospitals will be involved and that casualties will be taken to multiple hospitals. That's the usual scenario when a critical incident takes place. I should stress that the police have said that this is a contained situation, so there doesn't seem to be anybody on the loose at the moment. They feel that the operation has been contained, but it does look as if there has been some very, very, very serious injuries in this incident, which, as I say, seems to have taken place on the low numbers, at the low numbers end of Hart Street, near to the pub, for anyone who's familiar with that part of Southport. We've been promised that there will be more updates from the police as the afternoon develops, but at this stage they're only saying that a man has been detained and a knife has been seized.
Daniel, it seems just from looking at the timings, the police say they were called at 11:50, and it seems that the situation was contained fairly quickly after that.
It does. I mean, it looks as if the person was actually arrested on the property or very close to the property, so that obviously been responded to very quickly. The police let us know just over an hour after the incident took place, so they clearly felt that they had the situation under control enough to be able to say that within an hour of the incident taking place. And the ambulance service again were sort of publicising their part in the operation within an hour and a half of the operation taking place. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a gap now while we try and assess exactly what the scale of the casualties are there, and I think the police will update us on that as soon as they can, but that's something that won't be very quick, because of course people are being moved at high speed to hospital, and they'll be being assessed en route to hospital and at hospital as well. So it may take a little bit of time before quite how serious those casualties are becomes clear, but I should say that there are suggestions that there could be fatalities as well. So I don't think this is going to be anything other than a very, very, very serious incident involving a knife. But at least it seems to be contained at this stage. At least that's certainly the suggestion that Merseyside police are saying publicly in their formal statement at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a terrible tragedy, I fear, and certainly there are multiple casualties at this incident on Hart Street in Southport.
Daniel, we just had the first picture in, it's a still picture, let's just go back to that, of the scene with a police car and the police cordon to the fore of the picture, and people still very much visibly out on the streets behind the cordon. So we're just trying to ascertain what we can see from that. You can't. I'm not sure if we can actually see many police officers in
what
that
you
frame.
can see in the distance there is a group of ambulances, for example, and ambulance vehicles. Those sort of more yellow vehicles there are the ambulance vehicles, I think. So you've got both police vehicles and ambulance vehicles there, and the cordon is there clearly to just keep members of the public away. That cordon it's just to sort of reduce the numbers of people going down to the heart of the incident, which appears to be in the distance of that picture there, that is Hart Street itself. That's the street that you're seeing in that image. And as I say, these houses, and there's a little bit of an industrial estate off to the side there as well, seem to be, it's kind of like 20 to 30. The number's 20 to 30 on Hart Street. That seems to be about where it is. I see North West Ambulance there saying they've dispatched 13 ambulances along with specialised resources and the hazardous area response team, and that they've treated 8 patients with stab injuries, and they've been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital, Aintree University Hospital and Southport and Formby Hospital. So the worst has been confirmed there, that some of those injured have been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital. And I should say there were suggestions earlier on that we've not been able to confirm until that point that children were among the casualties. So we've got there 8 patients with stab injuries, some of whom have been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital.
Yeah, that information just in from the North West Ambulance Service. 8 patients with stab injuries have been treated at the scene in Southport so far and taken to hospitals, including Alderhay Children's Hospital. And Daniel, of course, it's the summer holidays, it's the school holidays, and we can see just from that picture alone the number of people out on the streets and the fact that there will have been lots of children around at this time.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. Almost all the schools will have broken up last week. It would have been the beginning of the holidays for many people, and so it wouldn't have been a sort of a quiet, sleepy street as many residential streets are during school time. This will have been a busy street just before midday on a summer's day. You can see the weather's beautiful there today. People are out in their shorts, out in their t-shirts. So when this horrible incident started, people would have been very, very aware of it, and you can see there's children there out on the streets in their summer holiday clothing. So I'm afraid it will have been an absolutely terrifying incident, which started at about 11:50 according to the police statement, and they were able to confirm at 12:58 multiple casualties at what they were describing as a critical, a major incident. And the armed officers had detained a man and seized a knife. The man is currently being held at a police station, but as we were saying a few minutes ago, unfortunately the ambulance service saying that there were 8 patients treated with stab injuries, so that's 8 people with stab injuries, some of whom have been taken to Alderhay Children's Hospital, and the other hospitals involved Aintree University Hospital and Southport and Formby Hospital. Southport and Formby Hospital, of course, being the local hospital in Southport. So perhaps the most serious injuries will have been taken there, but of course some of the children being taken to the internationally famous Alderhay Children's Hospital.
And Daniel, we must reiterate the police have said that there is no wider threat to the public, but they did deploy armed officers very quickly, didn't they? How unusual is that?
That is becoming increasingly common when there's incidents involving knives. So that would be, if you have the ability to deploy armed officers to an incident involving a knife, then you do. That's because obviously armed officers will also be carrying tasers, and it may be that response officers may not, but also that's the automatic response if you can get an armed vehicle there quickly, and clearly that's what was possible in this incident. The police confirming within the hour pretty much that armed officers had been deployed and had detained somebody. So that's not that unusual since the sort of beginning of the sort of mass stabbing events that we saw in the sort of 2017 and that kind of era. So for the last 10 years, it's been quite common for armed officers to be deployed to these multiple stabbing incidents.
OK, Daniel, stay with us while I let you try and get as much information as you can. We've just had more information from the Merseyside Police Commissioner, Emily Spurrell, who has said a man has been arrested following reports of a stabbing in Southport this morning. She said an arrest has been made and there is no wider risk to the public. She wrote that on social media on X. She said, I would urge people to be careful about what they share online and not to speculate about this incident. She said official updates will follow shortly.